Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to look at the iPhone screen, and I'm hoping the frame rate matches up here. There aren't any issues. So I'm going to open up here, I'll show you what I'm doing here. Opening up this app called Blocks Wave, and this is just one of many apps that you can download. And let's go over here, and I'm just going to start a new project. And let's see here if we can rename it. Not necessarily. So we'll start it, we'll set our tempo, maybe, okay, so 120 is fine. And I'm first showing you the app that I'm using and what you can do just within the app, because most of these apps that you're going to download for your iPhone can be used independently. And in fact, you can, if you use certain apps, there's one specifically called Audio Bus, you can run multiple audio apps at once on your phone. It's pretty crazy. So with this one, everything's standalone. It can work with itself. However, it can be linked to Ableton. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start coming up with maybe some ideas here. And as you can see in the app, we've got drums, bass, percussion, vocal, effects, and melodic as these categories. And we can also see these categories in a different view. We can also record ourselves into these loops. So think of this as a looping kind of software, and it already has samples loaded into it. So we can go and we can check out some drums. We can go to our drum library here. So you get the idea there. So all of these little cells that you see here can be filled in. There's 8 of them, basically per scene. This is kind of like a sequencer. It's almost in a way set up kind of like Ableton. As far as like almost like these 8 tracks here essentially could be like one scene. Think of it that way. So let's get some drums going. We'll get a beat going here. And I'm just pressing this play stop button over here. We'll go back over and we'll go, let's go to our melodic stuff here. Whoops. Pop over to this new cell here. This sounds cool. So then I can go and just start adding on more and more to this. Let's maybe do another percussive or another melodic instrument. These tracks can also be muted, so you can't see necessarily where I'm touching, but if I swipe up or down on one of these clips, I can mute it and unmute it. Alright, so, and I think we can even go and modify these, the waveforms here. So if I click on the waveform button there, you'll see that I can actually come in here and I can shorten the length of this clip. I can change the volume of it here. So it's even given me some mixing options here. Panning, I could pan it left or right, or right or left, or back to center. And slip mode will allow you to even change the timing of it, like the duration of it, and where it sits inside of that loop. And you can even use an EQ. And you can also import your own loops. Give me 1 second here. Come on, Mike. Alright, so you can see that you can do some really cool stuff just in this app here. And I'll go back and I'll get everything kind of set back up to how it was. Oh, another thing is you can use it like a trigger. You can trigger this on your own and trigger different parts of the bar itself. And I believe yeah, there's so much cool stuff we can do here. You can adjust the velocity of it, the randomness of it. That is really neat. Okay, so I'm going to continue to create more here. I'm going to go back to our library here, and maybe we'll go to some bass instrument here. Sounds really cool. And okay, so I can keep building on here. Maybe I'll add one vocal part here. That sounded pretty freaking cool in my opinion. So I am going to now, so what's neat about this is we have, if you look at the top left corner here, we have this number 1, and it's showing us our different, basically our different rows or our different scenes for that idea. So we have all of these blank ones that we can then start filling in and creating different parts to our song. So let's say I have this session. And then I want to, for the most part, keep a lot of this similar, but I want to change to a new part. What you can do is like copy parts over. So if I press and hold on, say, that melodic instrument, I can copy it by pressing the copy section, going over to my second scene, and I'm going to keep everything in the same squares so it's easy for me to jump from one scene into the next. And I'm going to go up to here, and I'm going to hold down and press paste. And then I can copy maybe you know, some parts from this scene essentially and paste them. But maybe over here I'll create a different drum sample. So this is where I'll go back to my drum section, and maybe we'll go. try something. Oh, this is cool. Alright, so we can just continue to build onto this. I'm going to go back into our categories here, and maybe I'll look for some effects. Not really digging a lot of those. Let's do this one. So if you want to delete one of these, you can just hold down and click delete. And then we can go and fill that in with something different, maybe a different bass instrument here. Alright, cool. So now we have, and you can build on this, obviously. You can do quite a lot. I won't go too crazy here, but essentially the idea here, and I'm starting this session from my phone. I haven't even opened Ableton yet. But what I can do from this app, and a lot of these apps, is if you go to the I believe if you go to the menu here, you can then share this. Okay, here we go. So it's this top right corner where the three little dots are, and you can go export. You can click the export button. You can export the section mix. So essentially that section of the song would come out as a stereo file, basically done and finished on your phone. You can also send the project files, which is if you send the project files, all of those samples that I used are going to come individually as just the sample. Then I can then pull into other softwares, or I can keep, basically. I can also export a Ableton Live set, and that's what we're going to do. Launchpad is another free app that you can download that essentially will allow you to record into it, so it's almost like a DAW on your phone. But we're going to go Ableton Live set. Ableton Live set options here, we have AAC and WAV. We're going to go with WAV files, so high quality stuff here, and we're going to go export. And then it's going to ask me how I want to send this. I'm going to choose email, and I want to send it to colivas@mum.ed. Alright, and I'm just going to click send. Now that WAV file has been sent to my inbox. So if I come to my computer and I refresh this, here's my new session, and I'm just going to download this file. This is a zip file, and I have my zip files basically exporting right to my desktop. Here we go. And I'm going to take this into my Ableton Live sessions here, Digital Music Production Spring 2020. I'm just going to drag it and drop it in there, and then I'm going to double click it to open that zip file. Now that I've got the contents of the zip file, I can throw this zip file in the trash. And here's my new set, Modern Goo Project. So now I can open up this live set on my computer, and here it is. Alright, so that's one way you can do it. So now, if I want to continue building, and because I could come in here and change the way the scenes are laid out. Now I have all of these samples, so I can essentially do what I want with them. Alright, so now that I've got this session basically fully created in my phone, I can modify it, I can do what I want with all these samples. So I can use them however I want to. But now that I've got something going, I can also continue to use Blocks Wave and now link these two sessions. So if I come over here to the top left-hand corner of my Ableton Live set, you'll see that I have this link option. And when I turn this on, I'll be able to connect to any other device that has the link enable option for Ableton. And so long as we're connected to the same Wi-Fi, we'll be able to share the same tempo, so everything starts and stops at the same time and plays in time. So this allows for us to do some really cool collaboration. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and as soon as I get connected here, I'm going to come over to my phone and open up Blocks Wave. We're going to click yes to allow connection, so that now that you see that this bar is moving, it's letting me know that I have now linked to a device. And you'll see over here in the linked section in our on and off button, we have one link, and this is my phone. So now we're sharing this tempo. So if I come back over to my phone, and I can go into this same session here, and I've got we'll create a blank session here, and what I can do essentially is play this mix, play this any of these scenes from my computer. And I can come over to my phone and start adding new sounds. It sounds like I've already included that one, so maybe I can add a new. Okay, so let's say I really like this new clip that I've got. Now I want to integrate this into my session. What I can do then is just hold it down and click the export option, export a WAV file, and essentially going to email this and email it to myself, send it, and then when I come over to my computer, I can check my inbox and do a little refresher here. Here we go. Here's the new clip, and I can download this clip. And this clip should appear on my desktop here. And I'm going to click over to my music folder here, and I'm going to keep this session together. So anything that I record into this session or import into the session prior to importing it, I want to organize it, so I'm going to put this into my samples folder, imported samples folder for this session. This is the Modern Goo project I created on my phone. And I'm going to go and I'm going to grab this fried short section and drag it and drop it into this imported folder. And now I can drag it onto an audio track, and now this is a part of my session. So that's pretty neat. So if I want to use a different app per se, let's say I'm going to close out of this app here, and I'm going to come over to this other one called SP Link Edition that I just downloaded here. And again, we can go to the settings. I click the home button there, and we'll go to this Ableton Link option here, and we're going to turn that on, and voila, now we are connected with one link. So when I play this song from my computer, I can start to make new parts to my song. So it's pretty cool. We can work with all kinds of different apps. There are a ton of different apps that work with the Ableton Link, and essentially you record your parts and send them out to yourself. So here's one way of collaborating, one way of working from your phone, coming up with ideas on your phone, sending yourself new live sets, opening those live sets on your computer, and now you have all these new samples. And also, this is it's also building up your samples library. So if you wanted to, you could come over and select all these samples. Whoops. Select all of your samples. Right-click them. Click Copy, so that you can now keep them with all your samples library, and you can paste them in here, so you can know where they're at for other projects. All right. Well, have fun with this. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great way to come up with new ideas. If you go to abletonlive.com/link-product, link-enabled products basically, you can find all of these apps that are link-enabled. Here's the one I was using here, Blocks Wave. But there are so many. There's a ton of free ones, and all you need to do is enable the link. I'll show you another cool one that I really like. It's this one here, SP Link Edition. This is pretty cool. It's a really nice kind of synth power, very powerful way to create kind of like piano rolls. It's really cool. All right, so I will send you the link here so you guys can look through this and find some apps that work for you and start playing around with. I mean, even if it's just one sound that you end up getting from an app on your phone and integrating into your Ableton session, it's well worth it, especially if it's for free. So have fun and enjoy. And keep in mind that when you're working in Ableton, if you start changing this tempo on any of the devices, it's going to change it across all devices. So this is the whole thing that keeps everything together, is the tempo, and that when you start, everything starts on the one, and that's what's keeping everything in time across all the platforms. All right, well, have fun, and I hope this was helpful.